see on ESPN. Kentucky here at Rupp Arena. They've lost 3 in a row. Ole Miss, this has been their own house of horrors. Last time they won here, 1998, with Jay Billis and Marty Smith. I'm Carl Ravitch, and we are underway. Ole Miss needing a victory on the road. Kentucky trying to stop a losing skid at home.
Ole Miss has a number of different playmakers led by Matt Morrell and Alan Flanagan. But this is about Kentucky's defense. John Calipari wants him to get more physical and tougher.
Flanagan knocks down his first shot, just underway. Trey Mitchell, who missed a couple of games with a back injury, back in the starting lineup. And the starting lineup that John Calipari used, perhaps when the team was playing its best, with Reed Sheppard and Rob Dillingham coming off the bench. And this is Mitchell, the X factor for this team, according to many. Wagner's 3, in and out.
And a real key, Ravi, for Ole Miss is going to be defensive rebounding. They are the worst defensive rebounding team in the Southeastern Conference. They've got to get on the glass to keep Kentucky from getting second chance opportunities.
Reeves, Wagner, Onyenso, Mitchell, and Edwards. That was an alley-oop that was blocked. And Ole Miss with numbers. Matthew Morrell got it. 5 quick ones out of the gate for Ole Miss.
That is where Ole Miss is really dangerous. They thrive and feed off of turnovers and block shots to get out in transition and get quick scores.
Problem for Kentucky during their recent skid has been falling behind early in games like they're doing tonight.
Ole Miss switching exchanges and screens out top. They'll switch 1 through 4.
Edwards banks it and pull up. Kentucky, Jay, had slow starts against Kansas A&M, Tennessee, Gonzaga. They rallied in all of them, and they lost all of them.
Already Kentucky trying to put a little bit more pressure on the ball. They want to turn Ole Miss into drivers, with the exception of Flanagan. That's his game to drive.
Cisse blocked by Onyenso with .8 to go on the shot clock.
Onyenso, one of the best shot blockers, not only in the SEC, but in the country. Had 8 blocks in that game against Florida. And he just took that right out of Cisse's hands from behind when he tried to drop step to the basket. Now you just got to look lob or catch and shoot really quickly.
.8. Flanagan. Pat Adams. He called the shot clock violation right away. We had exhausted .8 seconds.
I think he's telling Chris Beard, the coach of Ole Miss, that there wasn't enough time to do a catch and shoot, but there's a little bit of consultation right now.
He and Owen Short having a conversation along with KB Burdett. You see Chris Beard, his first season as the Ole Miss head coach. Well, Beard won that argument, and Adams has got the headset on to go take a look. I don't know what .8 feels like, but he caught it, and the way Flanagan shoots it, he actually brings that ball back, and there's a bit of a hesitation before he lets it go, and Adams immediately said shot clock violation on the inbounds.
The key is the red light you'll see around the basket.
I don't see a red light yet. I saw .3 at least on the clock.
Yeah, unusual.
On my part, as far as .8 on the floor, we're going to reset the clock at the shot clock at .4.
That was Adams. He's going to come over here to explain it. It sounded like he acknowledged a mistake on his part.
It was just an error. The official thought it said .3 instead of .8. There wasn't enough time at .3. And there are no do-overs in college basketball, so they set it at .4.
This now will have to be a tip. Adams got his hands up, and they're going to take a look at this one. Matthew Morrell got it and shot it. Take a look at that red light on the backboard. An unbelievable shot by Morrell.
Just a question of whether it was still on his fingertips.
The pass is no good. The ball was still in his hands at the time of the shot.
And that again, the voice of Pat Adams, who said the basket no good, the ball still in his hands. And you can see it right there.
Do our ratings go up with the officials watching this much television?
This is like the end of the Syracuse game. This is the beginning of the Kentucky game. Official reviews at the end of the Syracuse-Carolina game, and a handful already here. We haven't played 3 minutes. Ole Miss got a 5-2 lead. I mentioned the fact that Ole Miss comes in, according to Joe Lunardi, as one of those 4 currently on the bubble, with a handful, a couple more quad 1 opportunities. Kentucky will be at Auburn on Saturday.
Matt Morrell guarding Antonio Reeves, who's working off screens along the baseline. And Reeves moves really well without the ball, but Morrell is a really good defender.
Here's Reeves. There's 4 on the shot clock. Edwards looked up, then he fired. Got it. Boy, good court awareness. Edwards checked the shot clock, pulled up, and knocked it down.
When he plays with pace, he looks a heck of a lot better. Good pass.
Great pass, another block. Onyenso, second of the night. Edwards, aggressive, throws it up, and he got it.
That's the kind of pace that John Calipari wants to see Justin Edwards play with. Edwards coming off an 8-point, 5-rebound, 2-steal game against Gonzaga. And at the end of a shot clock and here in transition, the nice spin, took the contact, never took his eyes off the rim and completed the play. That's a really nice play by the freshman Justin Edwards.
And 7 early points for Edwards. He's got all of Kentucky's.
A little bit of full court pressure early by Kentucky, not necessarily to force a turnover. John Calipari just trying to create some energy, some juice for a team that's had some slow starts.
Reed, Sheppard, and Rob Dillingham check into the game, and Sheppard, who runs around on defense often like a free safety, was there to knock that ball away.
He was the tag guy there. That's the weak side defender that picks up the roll man in any pick and roll. And he was just in the right spot to put his body there.
Well, this is a great development for Kentucky to see Edwards off to such a fast start. He came in as heralded as any of their freshmen and has seen his value really go down this season.
He missed that Florida game with injury, so Kentucky's had so many guys in and out of the lineup.
Yes.
This is the first game, maybe all year long, they've had everybody available.
There's Sheppard, he picks his pocket. Edwards again. Good defense by Morrell as Edwards brought that ball up. He knocked it away.
Anytime, Ravi, you show the ball, you make it visible to Reed Sheppard, he gets a hand on it. He's got extraordinary hands. Keeps both feet on the floor. He doesn't fly around that much. He'll leave his feet from time and again on a shot fake.
Yep.
But one of the best steals guys in the country.
55 steals, Jay, into tonight. He's got 1 already, and a pass to Mitchell. That's going to be a foul on the floor on Murray. But back to Sheppard. 55 steals, leads the team. It's twice as many as anybody else.
Yeah, it leads the Southeastern Conference. He gets over 2 per game, and sometimes you wonder if John Calipari would trade maybe a steal per game from Reed Sheppard if there was a little bit more attention to detail on help side defense and exactly where to be. But you're not going to find many players that have the court sense to get steals like Reed Sheppard does.
Dillingham, he is a scorer, and the runner goes.
Onyenso came out to set a ball screen, just ghosted right out of it, opened up the middle for that drive.
Flanagan hard to the rack. That may have been bothered by Onyenso.
Onyenso has been a presence around the rim. And that's why Kentucky wants to turn this team into a driving team. Funnel them right into Onyenso.
Dillingham just dribbled into a turnover. Sometimes it feels like Dillingham goes so fast it ends up hurting him, and that is a foul after the turnover on 0 in white. Kentucky off to a 9-5 start, leading Ole Miss by 4, and it's been the Justin Edwards show with 7 points, 3 of 3 shooting. First 3-game losing streak in Rupp Arena in the history of this arena, which opened in 1976. And it has been the subject of conversation on the radio and certainly in newspapers. The headlines have really taken Coach Calipari and his Cats to task for the way they performed, especially at home. Season tickets are on sale now, and single-game tickets go on sale. It has been a problem defensively for the Cats. They rank 124 in defensive efficiency, and their scoring defense is 327. One more time for your UK softball team. With the SEC on ESPN from the Carrier Dome and an upset to Rupp Arena, where the Kentucky Wildcats currently lead Ole Miss 9-5, but Rupp Arena has been rough arena for Kentucky here. Florida stunned them on January 31st in a tight game, and many of these losses have been tight. They lost again at home when Tennessee came in and just bullied them. They ran them right out of Rupp Arena. And then for the first time, they lose 3 games in a row. Kentucky makes unwanted history. The headlines taking Calipari and his Cats to task when you consider in his first 7 years at Kentucky, Calipari went unbeaten at home in 5 of them. Big week coming up for South Carolina, Alabama, Auburn. They are at the top of this conference. South Carolina will be at Auburn, and then Kentucky will travel to Auburn on Saturday. That, of course, is Jay Billis, and I'm Carl Ravitch. Marty Smith will join us in just a couple of minutes. As you join us, Kentucky's got themselves a lead. It's been a very good start, but it has not been a good couple of weeks here. How do they turn things around?
I think it starts with defense, and John Calipari yesterday in practice was talking to his team about being more physical. What other teams are doing to you that's bothersome, start doing it to them.
Right.
And he talked a lot about loose balls, about talking. But they haven't had lineup continuity throughout the season. And John Calipari talked about not having an entire lineup. The big guys were out early. They played with a small lineup. The big guys come back in. They start playing a different way. But really, it's about getting better defensively throughout the end of February and into March. He says this is a team built for March.
Right.
And I think he means because they can really score. But they're giving up 84 points per game in conference play. That's last in the league. Part of that's tempo, but the other part is they just have to get tougher collectively and individually in guarding the ball, getting loose balls, grabbing defensive rebounds.
Already built for March, but we still have half of February to go.
Ravi, John Calipari says he's accustomed to starting over with a new team every single year, but starting over mid-season with a brand new team, he told me today that's a different challenge entirely, and that challenge starts tonight. Because for the first time all season long, the Kentucky Wildcats have all 16 players on their roster available. Well, what's that mean? That means that the chemistry experiment for the best rotation begins right now. Don't be surprised tonight to see small ball, to see Trey Mitchell at the 5, Thiero at the 4. Cal reminded me today he loves this basketball team. He told me, we're built for March. We will break through. It might not be tonight, but we will break through. I promise you. Ravi?
All right, Marty, it's been a really good start for them. And again, the Justin Edwards show, for those just joining us, 3 of 3 from the floor. He's got 7 points. Onyenso's got a couple of blocks, Jay.
Kentucky got down 5-0, but then scored 9 straight. A pretty good closeout there by Trey Mitchell to take away the three from Brakefield.
Murray with a ball fake. He got Sheppard in the air. He missed to the left. Marion Sharp into the game at 7'5" tall, and Dillingham for the second time loses the basketball.
Boy, and that's where Kentucky is usually most dangerous in transition, but Dillingham the last couple possessions has been loose with the ball, and it leads to a layup for Brandon Murray on the other end. But that's what Ole Miss thrives on. Forcing turnovers, blocking shots, and getting out in transition.
Dillingham, three, and we're going to get a foul, looks like on Onyenso. On a screen that was moving.
Justin Edwards, the freshman lefty from Philadelphia, is off to a great start. The mid-range shot, he's playing with pace. He has been very active to start this game, missed the game against Florida with an injury, and has struggled at times to get his footing this year. But a really talented young player that's off maybe to his best start in the last 10-12 games.
Thiero on the court for Kentucky. Also into the game, TJ Caldwell, number 2 for Ole Miss.
I don't think Ole Miss can put Kentucky in enough ball screens. Test their ability to guard ball screens. Got a switch here.
They do have the switch, and that was just a massive body underneath and Sharp that helped open up that lane.
Well, Sharp rolls to the basket, but that's on Mitchell to stay in front of the ball. You know, when you allow a straight line drive, you're going to give up a lot of easy points.
That middle high ball screen crushed Kentucky against Gonzaga. They fed off of guys down low. And there's Mitchell with a turnover.
And this is a Kentucky team, Ravi, that doesn't turn the ball over that much, and already they've coughed it up several times.
Brakefield was making his way past Thiero when Adu grabbed him, and that is going to be a foul. 5 turnovers already in the game for Kentucky, as we are 5+ minutes in. Dillingham comes out. John Calipari insists that he loves this team. He knows they can score. Jay touched on it. They've got to defend more physically and rebound. 3-corner, rattles in it, drops for Morrell.
Morrell is, I think, the most complete player in the Southeastern Conference. Plays both ends of the floor, gets a lot of steals, but his numbers are so much better this year, so much more efficient under Chris.
Too strong. Long rebound goes to Ole Miss. Not their strength, offensive rebound. Morrell had an opportunity, and now he slices through. And now he's wide open. And that time he knocked it down.
Boy, the ball movement and player movement really put Kentucky in the popcorn machine. They did not react very well. And that came after that long rebound. And that's where Kentucky's got to get better. Is if it's long or loose, the Wildcats have to be more active to go get it.
Well, now Onyenso is checking in for Thiero, but this was the lineup that we were discussing in the open, kind of a small ball lineup. I talked to Trey Mitchell about it today at shoot-around. He said there's great versatility with that lineup as a group because we still have the physicality we need. He can handle the bigs on the glass, and he feels like he's more than capable in ball screen coverages. And offensively, it opens up the court much more and creates driving lanes. He said, plus, it's the group we started the season with in Canada. It's a group that got us flowing, and we have a real connection as Onyenso flushes it.
Really good pass, too, from Wagner, who got up in the air, and Onyenso cut.
Yeah, the only downside, Marty, to that smaller lineup, they are perhaps better offensively, but they don't have the same kind of rim protection. When Onyenso's in there, I mean, he sends back and changes so many shots. But whenever he's in there, you got to set ball screens out on the perimeter to draw away from the basket.
Cross-court pass sets up the jumper from Brakefield, no good. Sheppard dynamite down the stretch against Gonzaga.
Wow.
Antonio Reeves just threw it up, and it went off the window. The second bank shot of the night for Kentucky.
Well, he's got one of the best floaters in the country. I'm not sure I'd even call that a floater. That was just a push shot.
Sheppard ripped that away. Jump ball. Kentucky has possession. How does Reed Sheppard have such great success stealing the basketball?
He's just got a great awareness, and his hands are so good. You know, he doesn't slap at it. He goes to grab it. But I think you mentioned he's like a free safety. He does roam around a lot, and sometimes maybe he's not in the best help side position. But instead of playing his man, he plays the ball, and very alert that way.
Is his basketball IQ high enough that he anticipates what the opponent may be thinking and doing?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's got that sort of Wayne Gretzky thing about don't worry about where the puck is, worry about where it's going to be.
Yeah.
And he comes from a great basketball pedigree. His dad, Jeff Sheppard, his mom, Stacy Reed, both were great players here. Another turnover for Kentucky. These are just mishandling turnovers, not necessarily forced.
Sixth turnover. Reeves picks up the foul as he goes to the floor. Bobby Smith was the first black head coach here at Kentucky. Leonard Hamilton, longtime assistant coach, the first African-American assistant coach. Story of this game tonight so far, Kentucky turnovers, 6 of them. Their season high and a half is 9. And that was against UNC Wilmington and against the University of North Carolina. The Tar Heels off a loss on the road, another ranked team that goes on the road and loses as Syracuse beat them at the Carrier Dome.
Those 6 turnovers, Ravi, for Kentucky have led to 10 Ole Miss points. And that's what Ole Miss does, whether it's turnovers or blocked shots.
Brakefield was not on the same page with Brandon Murray, and Murray is pointing to himself to say, you were on the right page, I was not.
Well, anytime you cut, he cut right off the elbow. Brandon Murray did. You've got to cut to the basket looking for the ball because you may get it. You can always peel out for an exit screen after that, but you got to look for the ball.
Good dish there. Onyenso got fouled. He was fouled by Musa Cisse.
Onyenso is a hard roller to the basket. He's not going to pick and pop. Anytime he sets a ball screen, he's just going to roll hard to the rim, and that drags the defense and is really difficult to deal with. That's going to open up things for the ball handler.
Changed that, and they gave the foul to Brakefield. Onyenso will go to the free throw line to shoot a couple. Too strong with the first one. Duke and Florida State, 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Kansas, Oklahoma, 2 top 25 teams. Game day will be on the Plains, Kentucky and Auburn at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. That is a super college basketball Saturday on ESPN. As difficult a place to play as there is in the country.
As loud as it gets. The jungle is something else.
Jungle's got 2 big games this week, South Carolina. And of course, that one on Saturday. Another turnover in Dillingham will push. Finds Wagner.
Good pass.
Edwards has 7. Not going to be able to get it to 10.
Already, Kentucky has been more active defensively. They haven't been perfect, but they've been more active.
There's a good pass, and that time Cisse was able to dunk it over on Onyenso. He's been blocked twice by him already.
So that's the next step for this Kentucky defense, just stopping the ball. You keep it out of the lane, you don't have to help up. Once you help up, you're done. It's either going to be a lob to the rim or a drop-off for a dunk.
Reeves and Sheppard on the bench for Kentucky. The roll and another turnover. And right away, Calipari goes back to Sheppard, and a dunk on the other end from Flanagan.
I just don't know why you'd want to drop the ball to Onyenso there. I mean, he's not a guy that's going to catch it and make a play in a short roll situation. He's a long roller to the rim.
There's Edwards, in and out.
And so far, Kentucky has not had many offensive rebound opportunities against a team in Ole Miss that's giving up 40% of missed shots to the opponent on offensive boards. That's last in the SEC.
Cisse, Onyenso's 3rd block tonight.
It's great timing.
Dillingham has got 3 turnovers in the game. He's likely to be taken out here for Sheppard. Mitchell also set to come in. Thiero denied at the rim by Cisse. Oh, Flanagan looked like he may have walked.
Well, that's a heck of a rebound by Onyenso.
Dillingham, the blow by, the drop off, and Onyenso will get fouled and shoot 2.
Onyenso leads this Kentucky team in block shots, and he's got a block rate of 17%. It's the ball screen, and Onyenso's got to help up. You know, there's just not up to touch there to help. And then after the turnover, just the easy basket. And both Cisse and Jamarian Sharp, those are excellent shot blockers that Chris Beard can use in tandem, taking one out for the other. They just cover up the rim.
Cisse picked up his second foul on Onyenso there, whose free throw is good. Cisse's got 23 blocks. You mentioned Sharp. He's a block machine with 57.
Well, Sharp's like 7'5", yeah, and his arms go forever. Transferred in from Western Kentucky, where he led the nation in block percentage as a Hilltopper. Now he's doing it as a Rebel. But how good was Onyenso against Florida? He had 8 blocks, 16 rebounds, and 13 points. And he was a difference maker in that game.
Kentucky has not made a 3 tonight. And Ole Miss is 3 of 5 from deep.
A good ball pressure by DJ Wagner out front.
Open again, Morrell. Missed there. He's had a handful of open threes tonight.
Yeah, Kentucky was very fortunate there. That was just over help.
Wagner kicks, Sheppard wide open. Money. Pure stroke of Reed Sheppard.
Ravi, I watched Reed Sheppard shoot yesterday in practice and today before the game. Today before the game, he probably took 80 shots in early warm-up. I think he missed 5.
That ball was deflected by Edwards. It's loose. It's Kentucky's. It's not Kentucky's anymore. That was going to be an alley-oop, but Onyenso's blocking everything. The ball's in the air. Onyenso's swatting at it.
Well, this has been a different Kentucky team as far as defensive effort has been concerned. They're not perfect, but they're working harder.
How about that shot by David Brakefield, falling away.
Brakefield had 22 against Tennessee. Such a skilled lefty. He's a lefty. One of the unusual things, he's a lefty that loves to drive right and spins back to his right hand. A little zone now for Ole Miss.
They left Mitchell wide open at the free throw line, and it's off to the right. Good dump off there, and Sharp tried to jam it, and he missed. Sheppard the other way. That's a goaltend. They call it on Brakefield. Boy, Sharp had that thing halfway down and rattled out. Good one underway here at Rupp. Ole Miss by 1 over Kentucky, trying to win for the 3rd time ever in this building. Review, no goaltend on the play. Ole Miss 21, Kentucky 18. It'll be Ole Miss basketball. And Marty is down on the floor.
Thank you, Ravi. Coach Beard, 3-point lead here, 7:30 to go. What do you like from your guys so far? What do you want to see going into halftime?
Yeah, I think we showed up to play. Our effort's where it needs to be. We just got to play a lot better. Defensively, we got to stay committed to getting back.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Right.
Thank you. Ravi?
Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Coach Beard. After timeout. Yeah, the energy for both teams, you mentioned it. Defense for Kentucky improved. That was what Calipari said we needed to do. And Ole Miss been a little bit more aggressive on the offensive glass, something they haven't done terrifically this season. They've made 3 threes. Kentucky has yet to make a 3.
Well, it's not that Kentucky's defense has been perfect. They've had breakdowns, but the energy level, I think, is much improved.
Yes.
And they're going after it a little bit more. But this is an Ole Miss team that I think needs to be tested on the glass. And Kentucky's yet to grab an offensive rebound. Now, they haven't missed that many shots either. They've shot it well, but they've just turned it over too many times.
Morrell off the roll, knocks it down. Yeah. Sheppard did knock down. They missed their first threes, and he knocked down a 3, so they're 1 of 4 from deep.
Now, Morrell's already in double figures. He's got 11 points, and Ole Miss 8-1 when he scores in double figures in the first half.
Reeves, that ball is blocked, 7'5", Sharp.
Well, you have to go right into Sharp's chest. You cannot afford to try to avoid a shot block.
Early 3 taken by Murray is off. Sheppard long three. Boy. Give him an inch and he will take it all.
Well, if you are not alert and right into him, he didn't hesitate when he saw the space, and that was a good 25, 26 feet away from the hoop.
Sheppard's got 6 on 2 3-point shots.
Got the switch now. Onyenso on Brakefield.
And Mitchell on Sharp. Brakefield denied. Onyenso picks up another block. He is 4th of the night.
Well, he initially went for that shot fake and left the floor, but a really good second effort. Now watch how he goes up, but he was still standing on the ground when he blocked that. Good to be 7-2. Morrell was wide open there, could have gotten an easy bucket.
Sharp at the end of the shot clock had to force up that shot. No good. Mitchell, there's an offensive rebound.
Got the switch. Now you got Murray on Mitchell.
Reeves goes to the corner. High arcing three is good.
A smart play by Reed Sheppard. Recognized the mismatch with Juju Murray guarding Mitchell and got it right to him.
Crowd to its feet. Cats up by 1. Another block, this time Bradshaw, who's into the game. Reeves to the hole, and he will be fouled, and he will shoot a couple.
Boy, when Kentucky defends and rebounds, that's when they become the fastest team in the country. Now watch the recognition of the mismatch. You have to help, and then a terrific relocation by Antonio Reeves down to the left corner. And how about this block by Aaron Bradshaw? That starts this just spectacular Kentucky transition game. But if you don't guard, your transition opportunities are going to be cut down. And Kentucky wants to get out and run, but in order to run, you got to secure the ball.
So Trey Mitchell with a terrific pass to Reeves in the corner. How important is Mitchell to this lineup?
I think we talked about it during the Florida game. I think he's their indispensable player. Yeah, he's not their best player, but he's the indispensable player. He keeps everything together. He's sort of the glue for this team. He's a really good passer. He's their best help defender. Very versatile. He can play a stretch 4. He can play a stretch 5. But having him on the floor, it's just a calming influence for this Kentucky team.
The crowd has been as vocal as it has been in recent memory here at Rupp Arena. In fact, Coach Calipari has talked about that, implored them to stick with the team. There is a shot from the corner that's off. And Sheppard will push. He finds Edwards, who goes right at Sharp, and he picks up the foul.
That's the way you go at a shot blocker, Ravi. When Edwards caught that ball, Sharp was between him and the basket. Instead of trying to go up and avoid getting your shot block, he just went right into his chest. And that's the only way you can go at a shot blocker. And Sharp just brings down that right arm and makes contact, one straight up and down.
Edwards had a big smile on his face. He's playing with a lot of joy tonight. And certainly the start that he got off to, he came out and scored the first 7 points for Kentucky. And knocks down both free throws. Big night so far for Justin Edwards. Part of a 10-0 run for Kentucky. Sheppard nearly had a steal. Ball tipped up, and it looked like Sharp is going to shoot a couple of free throws.
Well, Kentucky has been stronger on the ball in forcing this Ole Miss team to put the ball on the deck and drive it. You want to make shooters into drivers. The one guy you don't want to do that with is Alan Flanagan. You want to make him shoot it. But it just funnels them into the shot blocking ability that Kentucky has. They're one of the better shot blocking teams, not only in the Southeastern Conference, but in the country when they have their big guys available.
Foul called on Mitchell. Sharp gets it to go over the front iron. This is what happens when you have Cam Brent at 5'5" and a guy 2 feet taller, Jamarian Sharp, at 7'5". It's not exactly the Aaron Judge, Jose Altuve shot as spring training has begun in Major League Baseball. It's bigger and better than that with the disparity.
Well, Cam Brent is a terrific kid. His dad coached at Arkansas Pine Bluff, and Cam wants to be an agent someday. They call him Muggs. I wonder why.
Coach Beard singled him out. That was another block there by Sharp earlier during the shoot-around. And Sheppard, another steal.
Just a tough pass for Sharp to catch.
Reeves, the quick pull-up. Nobody better in the country than Reeves at that shot.
And how tough does that make him with his perimeter scoring ability to have that middle game where he can just pull up, put up that little soft floater, and it goes in at such a high rate. Antonio Reeves averaging just under 20 points per game. That's 4th in the Southeastern Conference, and he shoots 50% from the field in large measure because of shots like this. Weak side defender comes over, he stops on a dime and puts up a soft floater. He's back down now by Flanagan.
Oh, got a friendly roll here on the road, and Flanagan.
He's been a guy that's been on a roll. The lefty transfer from Auburn, his last 2 games averaging 23, and he's 17 of 30 from the field over his last 2.
The floating game is working for Reeves. He knocked down another one.
You take away that perimeter shot, and he's got that weapon. That was right over the 7'5" Jamarian Sharp. Good job by Justin Edwards there. You got to force Flanagan to his right.
Murray with 3. There's the hands of Sheppard again. And here he comes. He's got Reeves with him. There's Edwards to pick up the miss.
Kentucky forcing the issue defensively. It's not a good shot by Flanagan.
Flanagan missed the 3, pointed to his own bench. And Beard has come out on the floor as we have a timeout on the floor. Here's the Ole Miss resume. 59th in the net, 2-4 versus the quad 1 team, 16-1 against everybody else. They're 8th in the conference. They have 8 games left. They still play Missouri twice. They're going to be at Georgia, at Mississippi State, A&M at home, South Carolina at home, Alabama at home. A whole bunch of opportunities ahead.
They've got opportunities, but Ole Miss needs to get some road wins.
Yeah.
The committee tends to look on how you do on the road, especially this year. I mean, road wins are really, really valuable because they're so difficult to get. And for some reason this year, it seems like they're even more difficult than normal.
Yeah.
But the spread between how Ole Miss plays at home and on the road is pretty significant. There's a significant drop in their productivity and their efficiency when they go on the road. And as you know, Ravi, all of the all NCAA tournament games are played away from home. This is an important 2 minutes and 38 seconds, really, for both teams. But for Kentucky, yeah, this is an opportunity for the young Wildcats to put some distance between themselves and Ole Miss going into halftime. And how do they handle it?
They got Mitchell open for a 3. That's off to the right. Bradshaw had the offensive rebound knocked out of his hands by Murray. It'll stay with Kentucky.
After some initial action, they got in basically to a horn set. And once you come off that screen on either side, Bradshaw is going to roll and Mitchell's going to pop. And they had a little high-low look, and Mitchell had a wide-open shot.
Reeves and Edwards 11 each. Sheppard's got 6. Onyenso 4. They've credited the official stats broadcast with 7 blocks for Onyenso.
A couple of them I thought were lob passes that he took out of the air, but he's been a presence. Whether it's 5 blocks or 7, it's a lot, especially for a first half. Officials are checking the shot clock to see whether the ball actually hit the rim. It didn't look like it did to me. I thought Bradshaw got that out of the air, but Here's the shot here. That's nothing. Onyenso has been a force in the paint so far for Kentucky, just covering up the rim from 12 feet and in. And having that presence means that you can get out and guard on the perimeter without fear, because if your man beats you, you want to make him drive in this game anyway. And once you make him drive into that wall that Onyenso creates in there, it's nothing but good things for Kentucky defensively. So you got to get out and defend with confidence, because that's a pretty good eraser on your defensive pencil.
Big eraser. Kentucky has won the last 13 meetings against Ole Miss. Here at Rupp, and it's now Wagner with the ball. A little more than 2 minutes to play with Kentucky up by 7.
Going to the same play.
And a dish down low to Bradshaw as Sharp came over to double.
Once you get that drive down the left lane line, if Sharp is going to come over, there's got to be a rotation down, or it's just an easy dunk. There was nobody there to pick up Bradshaw.
Tough shot from Morrell, baseline fadeaway, no good. Good defense by Kentucky.
Forced the tough two.
Wagner in the paint, and he's going to draw a foul. They get that foul on Brandon Murray.
Let's take a look at this last drive by Kentucky after the same action they ran earlier in the clock. You got DJ Wagner, who's much better driving to his left, and when Sharp comes over, there's got to be a rotation down, or you've just got Aaron Bradshaw right in front of the rim for an easy shot.
Wagner's first point of the night, getting their point guard back, critical. Calipari has harped on the fact, you look at other teams, they suffer losses. People will point out that they're missing a player. He said, we've been playing without 2 starters for a while. And this is the first time, as Jay said, they've had all their scholarship players available in the same game.
Well, we were also laughing yesterday about Wisconsin. He said, you know, he hadn't been watching much of Wisconsin of late, but he said he found out Wisconsin with that veteran team, they've lost 4 in a row in the Big Ten. Good fake.
Morrell got Sheppard, I should say Reeves, up in the air, and then Reeves picks up the foul.
The foul is on Reeves. That's his second.
Morrell does such a good job of moving without the ball. He's a terrific catch and shoot player, but he's got an excellent first step. He's good as a pick and roll handler. But that was a really good cut from the weak side.
He's moved past Devontae Shuler for the 20th all-time Ole Miss scoring list. He needed 8, and he is past that already. South Carolina at Tennessee, all over the South Carolina women and how outstanding they've been all season long. They just dispensed of the women of UConn. That's Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern time, our primetime game. Women's college basketball continues, and the unbeaten season will continue. We'll see if that happens on Thursday night.
They're going to stick with this high ball screen action. Well, almost another turnover for Kentucky. Unusual for the Wildcats.
That's a good pass there by Wagner to Mitchell. Up and under and in.
Alan Flanagan sold out, going for a steal. If you don't get it, you're in trouble. That meant that Jamarian Sharp had to come over. Now watch Flanagan here. I mean, he goes for that steal. Now all of a sudden, just a little shot fake, and Sharp should never be first off the floor. He should always be second. He's 7'5". Don't go for any fakes. Wait till the guy goes up, and then you go up, and you're still in good shape to block the shot.
Yeah, it's a good point, and it's something Onyenso on the other end has done really well, not left the floor. Bradshaw gets his minutes, he goes to the bench, Thiero coming in, and Kentucky with a 41-28 lead with under a minute to go.
Still going to stick with this full court pressure. Kentucky wants to be the aggressor in this game. It's just a mindset that John Calipari wants to get his team to have. And he talked to his team yesterday about your mindset is your responsibility.
Thiero with the rip. Edwards has been aggressive all night, and his feet, yep, they slipped on the ground. That's a travel on Justin Edwards.
But you like the quick move that he made. He's been much more aggressive and assertive. He's making things happen instead of waiting for something to happen. But even with a slow start, Kentucky's already put 41 on the board. With all the turnovers, this team can score 90 points falling out of bed.
It'll be interesting to see what he talks about. Assume it'll be the defense. This is an Ole Miss team that scores 76 a game. They're going to get Mitchell or Edwards here. KB Burdett calls it on Trey Mitchell.
Yeah, I think John Calipari is going to be very happy with the effort. You know, the defense hasn't been perfect, but he's not looking for perfect. He's looking for a 10% improvement. And then once you improve that 10%, improve another 10%. But with the way they score, I think that's why he's saying that this Kentucky team is built for March, because they have a number of players that can get 20 in a game. They know they can score. And in the NCAA tournament, you're not gonna go out and pitch a shutout. You're gonna have to put points on the board. This team can do that. The question is, can they play good enough defense and to make sure that they're, have the ability to win in the tournament? And I think they can do that, but they have to keep working on their defense and their talk.
They'll take a timeout. We'll take the 30-second timeout with them. And we'll come back for the last 16.8 of the first half. He is over 50%. Kentucky has cleaned it up a little bit. They had 7 turnovers in the first 10 minutes and only 1 since the 10:35 mark. Calipari credit, he gets criticized often for shifting guys in and out, confidence, losing it, having it. He's been very loyal and believing in Edwards, even when Edwards was down. And it's certainly paying dividends here, the way he's been tonight. Seen smiles on his face. And he's been terrific offensively. Sheppard will set it.
If Kentucky gets a score here, they've got the possession arrow, so they get the ball to start the second half.
Boy, Reed Sheppard worked his way into a terrific, easy pass. And that will do it at the half. Sheppard, with his eyes, drew 2. It left a wide open Mitchell underneath, and Kentucky will go to the half, leading 43-29. Marty.
Coach, you got the effort you wanted. They played very hard. How do you assess it?
Well, we're playing in a way that's more aggressive, and if you don't play, everybody sees it, so you got to come out. No reason to be sloppy on plays. We have turnovers, just being sloppy. We're a team that turns it over 8, 9 times a game. So you got 3? How? Just messing with it. So now we got to put 20 more minutes together. It's great to have our starters back. They've been gone for 3 weeks. Adu was gone for 4, so we got a rotation going.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you. Ravi?
All right, Marty, thank you very much. How impressive was Sheppard here?
Just got a great sense to draw defenders and find the open man. That's the way you want to finish a half, and they get the ball to start the second half.
Kevin, the ball is yours.
Ready.
First half that Kentucky has probably played all season. They were outstanding. As we continue in Jay's Ice Cream Store, I'm Carl Ravitch, Marty Smith. As I see empty-handed. People around here are not happy. Why is it that this is your domain? Share the sugar.
Well, I mean, look, they bring it to the guy that has promoted Rupp Arena Ice Cream, and this is what makes Rupp Arena the greatest arena in the history of sports.
I love Rupp Arena Ice Cream.
But the ice cream, as good as it is, wasn't as good as Kentucky's effort defensively in the first half. I mean, Kentucky held Ole Miss 35% shooting, but what was more impressive, they had 5 steals, 8 blocks, 7 of those by Onyenso. They were alert, blocking shots, getting steals, getting deflections. They were protecting the paint, and I thought they were just rallying to the ball. It was just a higher degree of effort for Kentucky than we've seen, and more attention to detail and a sense of urgency on the defensive end, and that's why they have this 14-point lead at halftime with the ball to start the second half. I think John Calipari's got to be really pleased with the effort that he saw.
And emphasizing that all his guys are healthy. They shot 56% in the first half. They held Ole Miss to 35%. And again, it's an Ole Miss team that averages almost 80 a game, and they had 29. Reeves misses a three. Our official Pat Adams hit the deck right in front of us.
Gentlemen, I just caught up with Coach Beard on his way out of the locker room and asked him what he said to his team, what he wants to see them do better. He said, man, we got our shot blocked 7 times. To us, that's like a turnover. So between our turnovers and those blocks, we didn't get enough offensive possessions. He said our one-on-one defense was not up to par. We have to do a better job stopping the basketball. He said, so to sum it up, we need to go down the floor and get a shot. And on the other end, we need to stop the person dribbling the basketball, because the basketball is what you score in order to get points.
Kentucky picking up full court. As Brakefield drove, and he got fouled and hit the ground hard. A foul on Onyenso.
Brakefield is a difficult player scouting-wise because he's left-handed, but yet he wants to drive right. He prefers to go right. You have to remind yourself of that. He's still down. Hopefully he's okay, but he took that hard. If there's going to be a shot blocked, he's going to go up and make it worthwhile.
Senior out of Jackson, Mississippi, who once attended Duke. Brakefield has started every game for them, and you can see that Onyenso did come down with that right hand.
And Kentucky won the battle of the free throw line in the first half. They got there 12 times, Ole Miss only 6.
Seems like you're enjoying this ice cream a little longer than usual.
Well, they brought it out at halftime. Usually it comes out, to break in the first half.
Yeah.
And with how verbose some of my partners are, it gives me more time to eat it.
That's maybe part of the plan. I'm not going to talk. I'm waiting for you. Jay has more. Wagner healthy. Mitchell healthy. And Edwards and Reeves each had 11 in the first half, and that's passed into row 1.
Well, you can see, Ravi, Ole Miss has come out in the second half, and they're trying to press up. They're trying to force Kentucky further out on the floor, and they've done that. And that was just a poor pass by DeJuan Wagner. They're starting the second half out. The first half, I think John Calipari used the word sloppy. They had 7 early turnovers, but only wound up with 8 for the first half.
Trying to double Murray, and that leaves Flanagan down low, and he's trying to work on Onyenso. No good. Tip, no good. And from behind, Edwards is going to pick up the foul on Moussa Cisse.
When Flanagan caught the ball on the left lane line around the block, usually he'd go up with that right away, but he was worried about Onyenso, and rightfully so.
Onyenso has been credited with 7 blocks in this game. Several of those seem to be on attempted lobs.
And that was good defensive discipline by Onyenso not to bite on any of those fakes. I mean, there are 2 or 3 fakes there by Alan Flanagan, but he stayed on the floor. A shot blocker like Onyenso, but even for the Ole Miss guys, Cisse and Sharp, you've got to be second off the floor.
Wagner 4 assists in the game, only 1 turnover. Then he got in the paint there. He hits a floater. That was pretty.
How about that crossover move? Little left to right crossover. Good pass.
Down low on Onyenso. Give him credit for his 8th block. That one on Flanagan.
And Reeves helped change that a little bit, going behind him. But this is a terrific crossover. Just getting right into the lane and a little floater right over Cisse. That's not an easy shot, but a beautiful move.
They keep going in the paint, and a little floater from Murray falls. 12-point lead for the Cats, who've lost 3 in a row, and a bad pass and a turnover. And an easy flush, loud from Brakefield.
John Calipari is looking at his team right now going, who are you guys? You know, they've been a very low turnover team for most of the year. A couple more turnovers in SEC play, but you expect that. The level of competition goes up just a bit, but
11 in the game so far for Kentucky. Wagner with 5 on the shot clock. He falls down, kicks it to the corner. 3 no good, and the box out leads to a run out. And they got 2 on none. Laid up and in by Morrell. Calipari says, I need a timeout. Good burst from Ole Miss to start the second half.
And Ole Miss has done it on the defensive end, getting more aggressive. Kentucky, the aggressor in the first half. In the second half, Ole Miss is coming out throwing some haymakers. No defensive balance at all. Everyone underneath the foul line. And Ole Miss takes advantage of it with Morrell getting another bucket in transition.
Kentucky have spoken. All these people here rushed an ice cream.
But you still got yours. I was the aggressor. Mine's gone.
No, but
that's not the way you eat ice cream. You don't baby it like that. You go after it.
Well, how did the whole ice cream thing start, by the way?
I was here to do a Kentucky game. I think they were playing Harvard, and we were doing a graphic with one of these lower third things, and we were showing the Harvard bench, and there was a person behind the bench eating this great Rep Arena ice cream and kind of doing what you're doing, just babying it. And I said, that is not the way you eat ice cream. You know, you gotta go after it, just like I did when I got mine. I mean, it's
aggressive ice cream eater.
It's not quite the how many licks does it take to get to a Tootsie Pop.
Right.
It's a little more than 3, but mine's gone quickly.
Sheppard, tough pull up there on the elbow.
Well, you guys were enjoying your soft serve. I was in Kentucky's huddle. Cal says he jumped on him about the turnovers. As Jay was saying, they almost had another one in that possession just now. Got to value the basketball and share the basketball. And he also reminded them, we want to play in transition, even on made baskets. Try to stay away from Ole Miss set defense.
Dillingham and Sheppard back into the game. Give Jalen Murray the bucket. Forget, Murray was a kid who had 8 points as a freshman for St. Peter's in that first round upset over Kentucky in 2022. So they've seen him before.
Got caught on a switch. Trey Mitchell just rolled Murray right down into the post, and he's still on him. He needs to bully him here.
He tries, there's help from behind, and they're going to get a foul on the floor, and they'll call it against Murray.
Yeah, Murray's just got to skinny up and get over when there's any sort of screening action with Mitchell. He can't afford to get switched off onto that because Mitchell's rolled him down into the post every time.
Murray's second foul. There's a bad pass, and that's a no-look pass from Mitchell. You don't usually see Trey Mitchell do that either.
Well, the no-look pass is okay as long as the receiver's looking. But you know, kind of like John Calipari told Marty Smith going into halftime, there's been some sloppy turnovers. You know, you give Ole Miss credit for the turnovers they forced, of course, but you know, if you're looking at the Kentucky's perspective, you know, they've been a little bit loose with the ball, and that's led to 18 or 20 points off of turnovers for Ole Miss.
I think again, Mitchell, who is grabbing the shirt of Brakefield, and Trey Mitchell seems to be rubbing his left shoulder.
Checking in for Kentucky is Thiero.
He's talking to Owen Short, the official, perhaps saying he got an elbow. Thiero will come in, and Mitchell, who just came back from that back injury, now is actively looking and rubbing his left shoulder.
Now they're going to some ball screen action, and that's going to get some switches.
That's how you go over Onyenso. Cisse with the jump shot. And just like that, 6-point game as the trainer looks at the shoulder of Trey Mitchell.
And Musa Cisse had 12 points and 4 blocks against Auburn, but he only averages about 4 points a game. He's not known for his post scoring. He's more of a lob threat, drop-offs when there's penetration.
Thiero threw it up, and it ends up in the hands of Edwards, who gets it to Dillingham, who fires a three. That'll work.
He is instant offense. Dillingham had that
foul on Sheppard on the floor.
Because Rob Dillingham is such a threat when he catches it, he just has to lift his eyebrows and the defense is going to fly by. Nice little side step for the three.
Welcome back to Rupp Arena. Watch the left side of your screen here. You'll see Trey Mitchell work to fight through a screen by Moussa Cisse, hit his left shoulder, and he immediately begins to grab the shoulder and wince in pain. He made his way to the sideline, and then when we got to the 16 under timeout, he made his way to the locker room with team doctors, and he is currently still in the locker room. Ravi, when I have more, I will pass it along.
All right, well, that's the guy Jay identified as like the most indispensable player on the team for Kentucky, so we'll see how long he's out for and how Kentucky responds.
Yeah, just when Kentucky has everyone available for this game the first time all season. Trey Mitchell dealing with the shoulder.
They set up the top of the arc three from Morrell that doesn't go down.
Yeah, Morrell got a great look. His shooting percentages are so much better this year in large measure because of quality of shot he's taken. Another loose possession.
Dribbled himself right into a turnover. 14 turnovers in the game for Kentucky. Corner three, that's an air ball. Cisse had it and lost it. Air ball from Murray from the corner. He's got 54 threes, which is tied for the team high on the season.
Hasn't been open much in this one, probably forced it a little bit, but he's shooting 43% from three. He's a really good facilitator, drive and dish guy, but also can knock down shots.
Here are 7-footers on the blocks, and here comes Onyenso with a high screen and roll, and it out.
He didn't even set the screen. That was just a ghost. Came out like he was going to set it, just slipped right to the basket. That middle action is so difficult to defend because you don't have a lot of help side.
Breakfield a give and go, and he turned it over.
Yeah, give and go, but there was nowhere to go once he gave it to you.
Word out of the Kentucky locker room, Mitchell questionable to return. Dillingham finds Onyenso, had it slapped out of his hands. Quick hands by Murray. Breakfield one-on-one and a foul on the floor on Dillingham.
Now watch Onyenso. He comes out ostensibly to set a screen, but he just kind of slips out of it. And when Cisse hedges, there's nobody there to pick him up. And this time catches it, but just because it was down when he caught it, you know, you throw that ball a little bit higher, he can keep it high, but you bring it down to the level of Jalen Murray, he's going to take it away.
So Jamarian Sharp at 7-5 back into the game for Ole Miss. And Morrell, difficult shot, finds the bottom of the net.
Such a good middle game. You talk about a three-level scorer. He can make the three. He's got that mid-range shot and can also get to the rim.
They've outscored him 14-9. Dillingham, quick pass off the hands of Onyenso, who wasn't really ready for it.
But even if he caught it, too far off the lane to do much with it.
Dillingham nearly banked in a three in front of his own bench. Flanagan on Sheppard, takes him, and how about the hands of Sheppard again?
But Flanagan went right into his chest, and Sheppard still able to knock it away.
Hesitation move by Sheppard by Sharp. Pretty play, Reeves, Sheppard.
Reeves, Sheppard changing speeds, going slow to fast, and unafraid to take on the shot blocker, but going to the right side of the rim really helped.
Murray dishes it sharp. That ball was blocked by Onyenso. Here's Thiero. Hard to the hole. And a clean block from behind by Flanagan.
Got that with the left hand. It's almost like he timed it out to go behind Thiero. And that was a really strong take by Thiero. You give all the credit to Flanagan. He just timed it out and got it right up top. Clean block. What a great play.
On the other end, Jay, Onyenso now has been credited with 10 blocks in this game.
Remarkable.
Sheppard, 10 points in the game. One-on-one. And a bad pass. Another turnover. He went cross court.
No movement. I don't know how he thought he was going to get that through.
Cisse, that's all Onyenso. And here he goes again. And Thiero came in to block it, but they get the foul on Thiero. They call that on Onyenso. It looked like Thiero came in with the foul, but instead it's on Onyenso. It's his third.
Kentucky now with 15 turnovers in this game. That's a season high for the Wildcats. A team that's averaging, what, 9 or 10 a game?
They've been great all season. Cisse hearing it from the Rupp Arena crowd, and he missed that first free throw. SEC men's basketball, they'll have another college hoop quadruple header. Tips off at 1 Eastern, noon Central. The featured games, 8th-ranked Tennessee hosting rival Vanderbilt. Vandy with a win tonight over A&M. And at 6 Eastern, 5 Central, the Rebels and Missouri at the Pavilion, 8:30. KB Burdett says no to Cisse, and it'll be Kentucky basketball.
Alan Flanagan was in early. I think he was saying he might have gotten pushed, but doesn't matter.
Ten blocks, second most by a Kentucky player in a single game all time. Maryland's Noel, his number is in jeopardy as Sheppard. Feathery three. Lead grows to 14. It's a dangerous time for Ole Miss.
Yeah, how will Ole Miss respond? The building is now alive.
Flanagan high in the air over Sheppard.
He's got that little pin down screen and into the lane where he could shoot over that right shoulder, which is not an easy shot for a lefty. Good pass.
Great pass, and using that basket as a defense mechanism, Reeves puts it up and in.
Reeves cutting in from the left corner. That's what John Calipari wants Thiero to do. To be a driver and create threes and shot opportunities for his teammates.
Difficult shot. Sheppard with the defense, and here comes Kentucky. Dillingham, boy, he threw it up with his left hand. He was looking for a foul. Looked like Morrell may have got away with a push.
He did. That was a foul.
And a turnover there as Murray threw it away.
Reed Sheppard, after Dillingham drew 2 defenders, it doesn't take him long to get a shot up. That's a Sheppard family layup. And another layup for Antonio Reeves off the great cut. The drive by Thiero. Kentucky doing it defensively and paying off on the other end.
In the last 3 against Ole Miss, but we flash back to 1998. They were ranked 18th. Mike White, the point guard on that team for Ole Miss. The current Ole Miss AD Keith Carter was the star. He had 21. And Ole Miss came into Rupp and stunned the crowd. They beat them 73-64. It was their first win against Kentucky since 1927.
And Mike White, the head coach now at Georgia, had 16 points and 6 assists in that game. He was SEC Player of the Week that week. And Ansu Cisse had 16 points and 10 rebounds. And the leading scorer for Kentucky was? Reed Sheppard's dad,
was
Jeff.
Was it Jeff?
Yeah, he had 15 points. And that Kentucky team went on to win the national championship in Tubby Smith's first year. That era, if you want to call that 3-year period an era, 96, 97, 98, Kentucky was an overtime period away from a three-peat. And Derek Anderson was hurt. They lost to Arizona in the final in 97 in overtime. And can you imagine, like, that's UCLA stuff, 3 in a row.
Dillingham came over to help, and how about a 3-second call? He was living in there, and that ball is now in Kentucky's hands.
You don't see 3 seconds called much anymore, do you?
How about 5?
Well, but when you're playing Ole Miss, they count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
There you go. There is Jeff Sheppard.
Member of the Bald Brotherhood. Well, welcome.
Jeff says it's his wife, of course, and Reed's mom, who's really the star.
Well, she was a great player.
Shot better. Did everything better than I did. Well, part of that run of 96 through 98, so many of the Kentucky basketball fans equate every season with that team. Like, that's what the expectations are. Calipari will tell you all the time. That's why we get criticized the way we do. Dillingham right in front of him knocks down a 3, and there is Mom.
Well, that was just a great drive by Reed Sheppard to draw the defense, and then he's got the presence to know where his teammates are to kick it out to Dillingham.
They got their largest lead of the night. Brakefield needed that. That's a 3.
It's just an overhelp situation. Yeah, anytime that Ole Miss can catch and shoot, yeah, they're really, really good. You got to make them dribble it. That's a foul, yeah.
It is very difficult to stay in front of Rod Dillingham.
He's got a great handle, and he's probably end-to-end the fastest player on the team. I'm not sure if they all lined up, but I'm talking about with the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
He's got extraordinary speed with the ball in his hands. If they just lined up and ran a sprint, I don't know who'd win. He'd be right there. But with the ball, he's got great speed and another gear, really.
Trey Mitchell went to the locker room with a shoulder injury. And he is yet to return to the bench, listed as questionable the rest of the night. Dillingham turns the corner and then uses the ball fake and the swan to finish.
So many different ways to score. And when he gets hot, he can really get on a roll. And right now, I think he's feeling hot.
Flanagan one-on-one with Thiero, backs in. Brakefield on the baseline.
Now that was Reed Sheppard just digging in and trying to get a steal. But as a result, he allowed that cut. And those are things I think Kentucky can clean up.
They set up Reeves. That's too easy. Antonio Reeves.
Just can't give up the middle. Usually Ole Miss is a no-middle team.
Murray with the tick and the foul on Dillingham. That'll be his 3rd. Mr. Vitale, this is out there for you. Dickie V in his battle against childhood cancer. You can enter to win a 2024 Porsche in the special color chalk. 1,800 chances sold, $100 donation per entry. You can go to v.org/Vitale raffle. v.org/Vitale raffle. Chalk.
I've not heard of that color. It's pretty though.
It's appropriate with the bracket, etc. Dillingham gets a big hand. He comes out. He's got 8 points in the second half. Wagner back on the floor.
Well, right now, down 14, Ole Miss has to get stops. There's still time to make a comeback for the Rebels.
Justin Edwards started this game on fire. He had the first 7 points for Kentucky. He is set to come in. Sheppard throws it up in the air. Bradshaw's got a height advantage, and he goes right up and over Alan Flanagan for 2 and a chance for 3.
Kentucky has been very intelligent in this game in spotting mismatches and going right at those mismatches. Whenever there's a switch, Alan Flanagan has to pick up Bradshaw, and Reed Sheppard goes right to the big guy for the mismatch inside.
So many weapons. Kentucky Wildcats have opened this thing up. They now lead it by 16 points. Largest lead has been 17.
Well, Kentucky's shooting 65% in this second half. They're 11 of 17 from the field since halftime. And how about Reed Sheppard?
Yes.
I mean, he's got 13 points, 5 assists, and 5 steals in this game. And there's still just under 8 minutes to go in regulation.
And you have that guy on the right there, Sheppard, and Dillingham coming off your bench. The chances of you outscoring the other team's bench are greatly increased. And tonight it's bench points, Kentucky 27, Ole Miss 4. 3 around and out. Thiero battles his own teammate Bradshaw for the rebound.
And that's 4 of 16 now from three-point range for Ole Miss. They've had some open shots. They've just not been able to knock them down.
Thiero, they've done a lot of one-on-one and it's worked. That time he came up just short on a layup.
We had a straight line drive, just couldn't finish it.
Brakefield to his right, triple teamed over there. This is Austin Nunez.
Nunez is a really good defender, puts great pressure on the ball, but not an offensive threat.
With 7 on the shot clock, that 3 off to the left. 4 of 17 now from deep.
And Aaron Bradshaw did a good job of running the floor and trying to post up Jamin Brakefield down low. Now here comes the high middle ball screen.
They'll start with 5 here. Wagner. No good. Rebound, Thiero, no good. A couple of misses at the rim here by Kentucky allow Ole Miss to hang around.
Good pass.
Nunez. There you go.
The lefty with the set shot, but that was just because of the really good passing by Ole Miss. But now they have to have stops.
We've had him the last 2 times down really because of Kentucky misses.
Yeah, you like how aggressive Adu Thiero has been. Boy, he's a crasher, man.
Wagner pulls up, no good. And it's Ole Miss ball, down 13.
Boy, Morrell was wide open on the right. Nunez missed him.
Brakefield, body, blocked there, Bradshaw.
Well, even if you beat Aaron Bradshaw to the rim, he can recover. And there he blocked the shot, but at least he can bother it. He's got really good feet that way.
They get Reeves, 3-2 strong.
Well, he didn't get the bucket, but good ball movement by the Wildcats.
Thiero picks up a hard foul. He got TJ Caldwell on the arm. That's his second. Our next NBA Wednesday doubleheader will be in Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell and the Cavaliers hosting DeMar DeRozan and the Bulls. That'll be at 7:30 Eastern time. And then another dose of Steph and the Warriors. They host Paul George and the Clippers. We'll tip it with NBA Countdown at 7 on ESPN and the app. Free throw is good. JJ Redick going to be part of the NBA Finals crew for ABC. Congratulations to JJ Redick.
You probably knew this about Donovan Mitchell. He was a heck of a baseball player.
Very good. Great athlete.
His dad, I think, was with the Mets organization.
Scott Matthews, our producer, was wearing his Mets pullover today because, of course, spring training opens today.
How soon before the Mets are mathematically eliminated?
Wow. Wow.
I'm a Dodger fan, so this.
They will not be eliminated at any point during the season.
Boy, good challenge there by Matt Morrell.
They've got their stops. They need points, and that won't help. A three is missed by Brandon Murray in the corner.
And right now, John Calipari wants his team to slow down a little bit. You still want to run your offense with pace, but there's no need to be in a hurry. The clock's your friend.
Reeves, good dish, good cut by Edwards. And he will get fouled and go to the free throw line.
Well, you're right about that good cut. Anytime there's a baseline drive, and Bradshaw would be the first one you'd want, but you want to get to the front of the rim and present yourself as a receiver. And I think Bradshaw was there, but a really good cut to get to the front of the rim by Justin Edwards. He came from the left side to get to the right side of the rim, present himself. And that just gave another option to Antonio Reeves.
Checking in for Kentucky is Onyenso.
Onyenso back in with his double-digit block total tonight.
And for the Raptors, checking in number 7, Helen Flanagan. Number 33, Musa Cisse.
You don't see many games with a guy with double-digit block shots. That's really amazing.
There's David Robinson of Navy, who had, was a triple-double that night?
You know, 87 wasn't that long ago. We can't find a color photo. It's not like Matthew Brady was taking our pictures back in the 80s.
Onyenso is 2 blocks shy of the Kentucky record held by Nerlens Noel. That was in 13, and it, by the way, was against Ole Miss. The block shot record has been kept since 1970. And Ole Miss has shot themselves out of this thing. They cannot make a basket here to shrink this lead.
Well, there's been nothing available at the rim because of the shot block presence.
Plenty available at the rim that time as Dillingham and Onyenso connect.
Yeah, just too easy to get a piece of the paint.
Flanagan, that fadeaway is no good, tipped up and not in. Another effort, no good. And the spin move on the baseline, that doesn't go. Kentucky comes away with it. 4 chances at the rim for Ole Miss.
Really, the only thing you can complain about in this game have been the turnovers that Kentucky's had, but that's something that I don't think John Calipari will worry too much about. But the defensive intensity was a huge jump from what we've seen lately from Kentucky. I mean, they're giving up 84 points a game in conference play, and yet they've held Ole Miss to under 60 with under 3 minutes to go. That's impressive.
Onyenso prevented from getting his block because they called a foul on him. He's got 4. He also has got some flushes.
Another slip out of a ball screen, and Onyenso wide open.
Get back to Rupp where the Cats look like themselves, Ravi and Jay.
They sure do. And the mayhem that they had out at the golf tournament has not been matched here, but the crowd has been into it from the beginning, and they have been rewarded with one of the better efforts for the Cats all season long, JB.
Yeah, I think this is the best version of Kentucky's defense that we've seen in quite a while. I thought they played pretty well defensively against Arkansas in Fayetteville.
Yep.
But I'm not sure Arkansas has as many offensive weapons as Ole Miss puts on the floor. You know, Ole Miss has 3 guys that average over 14, and Jamin Brakefield not too far behind at just over 12. But they've got a number of different playmakers. But, you know, Kentucky has, I think John Calipari used the word aggressor. Like, we need to be the aggressor.
Yeah.
And I think they were the aggressor in this game defensively.
So according to Lenardi, Ole Miss will not be punished for a road loss here at Kentucky. Their chances are going to be at home against A&M, South Carolina, and Alabama.
And like most teams, but maybe the spread's a little bit bigger for Ole Miss, but they're much better at home than they are on the road.
Currently 9 in, including the last 4 in for Ole Miss. According to Joe, A&M seemed to be heading in the right direction before suffering that loss tonight to Vanderbilt.
As you know, Ravi, the Southeastern Conference is a really tough league. You know, the Big 12 and the Big East are right up there. But I think people get confused, talking about the best league as if that's going to be, your league affiliation really matters when you get in the committee room. It doesn't. It's just your individual resume that matters.
Thiero will take that. That'll send the crowd home pretty happy. Those that are still here. Yeah, the benefit from being in those conferences is you're playing and have more opportunities right against quad one teams.
But it's not like somehow if you're declared the best league, you're automatically going to get more teams in than the league. It doesn't work that way.
Right, Cisse, Onyenso right over him and down.
Well, that was smart of him to get low and get right into the chest of Onyenso and knock him back a little bit. That was a strong move by Moussa Cisse.
30-second timeout. That guy's got 10 blocks tonight. 10. 73-59, $1:47 to go.
Not 9, but 10.
10. ESPN games tip off at noon Eastern. Featured matchups: Duke, Florida State, 2 Eastern. Number 6, Kansas and Oklahoma, and we wrap it up at 6 with Kentucky and Auburn on the Plains. It'll be wild. A sonic blockbuster. Should be another great afternoon of hoops.
Kansas got rocked last night at Texas Tech. But I can't remember a year where there have been more what I would call schedule losses, like in the NBA, where you're coming off a Saturday barn burner game. You got to play Monday on the road.
You're banged up.
I mean, Kevin McCullough didn't play for I think the 3rd straight game, and DeJuan Harris was banged up too.
The alley-oop there to Thiero, and he got fouled as he went up for it. But you're right, you can kind of see that one coming last night for Kansas on the road against Texas Tech. The upcoming schedule, as Auburn goes, home court advantages, there's none better. And they have Alabama at home at Mississippi State, and will end with Arkansas.
And Kentucky's going to have not only their defense, but everything on point on the road at Auburn. Look, nobody's cornered the market on it. I'm not saying other teams aren't in the ballpark, but I just haven't seen any teams that play consistently harder than Houston and Auburn. They're the 2 hardest playing teams I've seen. That doesn't mean like there's not a degree below and everybody's right there. There's other teams right there, but man, those guys play hard.
Well, what Pearl gets out of his team, and they fire this thing out here to Reeves. Onyenso was looking for an alley-oop, but he wasn't going to get that because he had Moussa Cisse back.
I tell you, Reeves has had a good game. He's done a great job on the glass. He's got 7 or 8 rebounds as a guard.
7 rebounds, 15 points. Dillingham, as we're under a minute, gets it to Reeves. That floater was deflected. Onyenso had it and lost it. Whoa, you see what he just did? Got to see what Moussa Cisse just did to get back up from his backside.
That was a gymnast move. Holy cow. Did you see that? Well, you did. I don't know who I'm talking to. Marty, did you see that?
I watched it. I guarantee the truck is looking for it, wondering what are they talking about? Thiero, 4 seconds on the clock. Sheppard fires. No. You hear Calipari yelling down at his defender. Why? Watch Cisse. Whoop. What?
That's incredible. I mean, he's like 7 feet tall.
He's 7 feet 230. Take another look.
It's like Simone Biles.
Good pull, good gymnastics pull in an Olympic year. I like where you're at right now.
At my age, I could have said Olga Corbett.
Nadia?
Ludmila Turishcheva. Ole Miss, you mentioned their opportunities. I mean, I think this is a good basketball team. I think Chris Beard in his first year has done a really good job with this group. When they stay on script, they're really good. But they ran into a team that, boy, for John Calipari, it's nice to know that your squad has this in them, that when you challenge them, they can rise to the level of that challenge.
Let's hope Trey Mitchell is okay. For the first time, they were all healthy. Mitchell leaves with a shoulder injury and has not returned. Calipari and Beard meet, and the clock hits 0. Kentucky will win it 75-63, the final score. Balanced attack tonight for Kentucky as you take a look at the updated standings in the SEC with the South Carolina-Auburn game on tap tomorrow night on the SEC Network. Reeves with 15, Sheppard 13, Edwards 12, Dillingham 10, and Onyenso goes for 8 with 10 blocks. For Jay Billis, Marty Smith, our producer Scott Matthews, good to have Derek Mobley. D-Mob back as our director. I'm Carl Ravitch saying so long. As the Wildcats win it, we send it to SVP.